You're listening to Cinema Red Pill, where we'll be talking about all things movies. I'm Sharon.
And I'm Timothy.
So, for our first classic movie podcast, we're going to talk about The Matrix. For those of you who are familiar with it, you can tell that our name is like a reference to it. So, of course, we have to pay homage to it. Does that make sense? To it and make it our first film we discuss. So just to give you the basic premise for the film, it's a neo-noir action movie that depicts a dystopian future where reality is perceived by most humans as actually a simulated reality called The Matrix. It focuses on Neo, who learns about this truth and is drawn into some sort of rebellion against machines. So I'll start by asking you a question, Timothy. It's considered to be one of the best action movies in cinema history. Is that hard to argue with? Do you agree with that? And why do you think it's been considered to be so great?
Thank you, Sharon. I do believe that it's actually one of the best films ever made, probably the best from the past 20 or so years. I think it's the best because it incorporates a lot of other works of art, from literature to film to anime. And it also involves a lot of genres. There's neo-noir, there's the action that we all know from the movies we watch these days. There's martial arts in it. And I also see a bit of a coming of age story in it, specifically from Neo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so when was the last time you had watched it before you re-watched it for this podcast?
It was a very long time ago, probably even 10 years. It's been a while since I saw The Matrix.
So it held up. Did it hold up?
Yeah, it's even more relevant now than it has ever been, I think, because a lot in the world actually relates to that, seeing as we live in a very digital world where everyone is actually living lives through their phones and social media and all that.
Stop sounding like an old person. So your experience watching it, besides it being so meaningful, your experience watching it?
I think it was very entertaining. I know it would probably fall under that whole bracket of commercial art, the films that Christopher Nolan actually makes, the ones which are very artsy in a way, but again have this whole entertainment value to it.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, for me personally, there were bits and pieces I could remember about the film. Of course, you'd always remember the red pill, the blue pill, you'd remember the dodging the bullets part. There's so much, but I'd quite forgotten how complicated it is. Isn't the story quite complicated? I'm very sure I didn't understand it way back when. Really, really sure, because by then I don't even think I knew what programming was. So watching it now, it was with new eyes, like you said before. It was like seeing it with new eyes, and it was really cool. So what stood out for you?
I don't know. I actually have a list of about probably 8 or 9 things. I know that might seem a lot, but those are like 8 or 9 things that really stood out for me. First one, as I mentioned earlier, was the genres, the sheer number of genres used in the film.
Yeah, the one literature?
Yeah.
First explain literature.
Actually, there's one of the opening scenes, the beginning of the film, there's a scene where Neo, when people come to his door, he goes like, I think they come for software or something.
Yeah, they come for software.
So there's that book.
Yes,
there's
the
that book that he gets stuff from. That book was actually used by the Wachowski brothers the book was given to the actors.
Wait, can I correct you? You've called them the Wachowski brothers.
Okay, I know.
Wachowskis
now because one of them had a sex change and all that.
Both of them, by the way. I checked. Both of them are now women. So, okay, carry on.
Complicated.
I know.
Yeah, so the number of genres used in the film, I felt it was really cool because blending all those is a very difficult thing to get something very meaningful and very unified. Another thing I feel was the character names. They're all given names like Neo, Morpheus, Cypher, Switch, names which all relate to tech and all that stuff.
Cool.
So I feel it was very cool and self-referential. And Morpheus, actually, it's an idiom, I think, sleeping in the arms of Morpheus is like an idiom for being asleep. Wow. So that's actually really cool. Morpheus is basically the god of sleep.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Then another thing I think I saw was the way they paid homage to things like the opening scene. Where Trent is running on top of a building is just a direct reference to Vertigo, Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. The opening scene of Vertigo where Patrick Stewart is chasing someone with the police. They're running on a roof, then someone falls off.
That scene, I remember that.
It's a direct reference to Alfred Hitchcock, just showing how much of this film is based or derived from past movies.
Okay.
Yeah. I still have a few more. Should I keep going?
Go with like 2 more.
Another thing was the production design. Because production design of the film is very important. Most people in Uganda and Africa in general don't really pay attention to it. Yet it actually gives the film that look, what makes it look like a film. So you could see in certain parts, like when they're in the Matrix, there was this very greenish color to everything. The room, even the characters themselves had a green shade on them.
Okay.
Then when they're back in the ship, the Nebuchadnezzar, there was this very pale blue color. So that kind of shows the 2 different worlds that people were existing in. And I thought it was very cool to incorporate
the
into the film.
Nebuchadnezzar, yeah. Okay.
I'll go with those for now. I'm sure I'll be adding on.
For now?
Yeah, for now. Add more later.
Okay, now, as people will tell, you look deeper into it.
I try.
Yeah, you're going to be looking much deeper into everything. But let me see, what I liked mostly, my experience watching it, usually I first tell if it holds my attention, because usually when something doesn't hold my attention, I'm going to look at my phone and maybe check for something else. But the story was really intriguing because I had forgotten most of the things, especially the beginning. The beginning, I had forgotten the whole setup of how new. Now I like that they really don't tell you they just let you like Neo, basically. The audience is Neo, so you discover everything with Neo, which was cool. And there you're real trusting your audience to discover the world. So it's so intriguing, so engaging. You can't wait to hear what's going to happen next, which is super cool. And of course the story is really well told. There's a lot of story, yet there's still super cool stylistic action. So it's a good simple story with style in it also, which just made the entire thing so satisfying in the end. Those were my really big pointers for the whole thing. I like that they really trust the audience, and also I like that it's actually plausible with real life, like how you're saying, nowadays we use so much technology. You could actually imagine a world where machines take over, although I think it's far off. They put it at 2029, which felt 2029 or something, which actually felt too near for something that's sick to happen. And of course that whole thing is, what if nothing's real? It really makes you think. It makes you think. I can imagine more people have made like fan theories on how all that came about. But that was it's a class. But okay, I wanted to ask you, like, would you put it among your top 100 or maybe your top 1000 if someone was to ever make you make a list of your greatest movies of all time? Because I think that's a true test, because if you're given a top 1000, you have so much, everything you want can fit in. But a top 100, would you put it there?
I would definitely,
100.
I would definitely put it there.
You would put it there?
I would definitely put the
Matrix. I love the Matrix, but I have doubts on whether I would put it in my 100. I think I would actually still put it in my 1000. Of course, I had a few problems. Did you have any problems?
There's one I'll point out later.
I can't wait to hear what your problem was. Because there were some characters who I remembered, but seeing them, I'm like, there's actually nothing that cool. Maybe it happened with the sequels, but actually we have to address that. We are not going to be talking about the sequels because they're subpar compared to the main one. And the main one, the first one is really the iconic one, so it makes sense for us to only talk about that. So what else? First, give me more of your things. I have another theory I want to talk about later.
I think another one I could add was as I already mentioned, there are very many references to other works of art.
Wait, can I stop you? Which characters did you like in the film?
I actually liked Agent Smith. I feel he was a very good antagonist, a very, very good antagonist.
Let me start with, I didn't feel Agent Smith's antagonism that much. Yes, first of all, the way they set him up. Tim, they set him up in a sentence. They set him up by telling the agents that no one ever survives them, that whenever Yeah, I prefer, and most of the film they were showing and not telling, but for that one they told without showing first,
No, but I think
which I found a bit weak.
I think they actually showed, because even just like in the beginning, now when Trinity is trying to escape, and Morpheus is like their agents around, and she's like, shit, like even as she knew, like she's
I feel
doomed.
like that's a
And
shit
even-
you can do
and
when
even-
someone
and
says the
even Morpheus-
police has come.
No, because Morpheus was like, Trinity, you need to focus. And by the time we're seeing Trinity being this badass, and she's already running for her life in the beginning of the film,
Tim, I think
it sets up that whole fear factor. Like, these guys aren't to be played with. So
I felt like that was a setup for Carrie-Anne Moss's character more than Agent Smith at all. And the interrogation scene, which was really cool, I like that first scene.
Yeah.
It still didn't make Agent Smith the super badass that I remembered him to be. Of course, with the glasses, that was the classic look.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel his badassness this time out.
because
He was
again-
not. If that was it for The Matrix, he was just not a standout.
No, but again, the thing I feel was another reason why the movies which came afterwards were considered bad. Actually, saw this in another, should I call it a podcast by Chris Tuckman, where he was talking about. It's just an example.
Okay.
Why he was talking about why action movies aren't that good today, and they were showing how the Matrix one, the first Matrix, was really cool because actually Neo had an equal adversary. Like even he was probably strong, and he had to dig deep.
Yes,
to really beat
that's
him.
always
But now when
better
the
to
when the
see.
next movie begins, this guy is just beating these agents like it doesn't matter. And again, it removes that bit of that I don't know, that anxiety. Will they actually make it? Will they not? And seeing how Agent Smith could take up any form, he couldn't die. I feel he was a very good antagonist for this film. I don't know. Everyone can have their
his plans would. I think they should have let one of his plans work, because none of his plans really worked throughout the film. So that just didn't make him as big a threat as I would want to feel when I see him there. So Agent Smith was one of my major minuses for this film. He just wasn't that strong a villain for me. He was strong. He was a strong villain, but the way they brought him out, I just hated that they made a sentence out of it. Like, you had to remember that they told the agents that, oh, you'll die. So that what was threatening for him when he eventually met up with Neo. Yeah, that was one of my qualms. Okay, who was your other cool person?
I really liked Morpheus. I liked his whole.
Morpheus is so cool.
I liked his whole. He was like when you meet him the first time, and when he's like directing Neo, when you're him over the phone, he sounds like this very self-assured and confident. He doesn't fear anything. But then, as the movie goes on, you see him actually being very human and making sacrifices just to save Neo, who's the one.
Yeah.
So I feel that made him a very compelling character. He was willing to lay all on the line for the cause.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Cypher?
Cypher, yeah, we could talk about Cypher.
Yeah, so Cypher, he's basically the Judas. At first, as soon as he betrayed, I'm like, isn't this a bit tacked on? Like the whole, they're not giving him reason. You know how you start looking for, you need to give a person why they're doing something. But I believed his thing. I believed his whole, I would have rather taken, in reality, I think I would have also regretted and said,
his reasons made a lot of sense.
His reasons were valid, because do you want to be in this
helpless
reality
situation?
In this helpless,
yet you could be living your life, being an actor, as you said, someone important, enjoying your life, your simulated life.
Would you rather stay in fake heaven or reality hell? I think I would choose fake heaven. So I kind of got why he betrayed and was basically Judas. So no, the thing I want to talk about is how he's kind of Judas and Neo is Jesus. Judas betrayed Jesus, and he basically set up for him to come and be Jesus and resurrect from the dead. So that metaphor really, really works. And he was annoying. I hated him, which is what should be.
What it should be to really make the audience repulsed by him being on screen.
I was repulsed by him, so that worked. Yeah, I liked Cypher. He worked. Neo, of course, is cool. I didn't want us to go without talking about Neo without speaking how Will Smith turned that role down.
To do Wild Wild West.
Oh, God.
That's probably one of the biggest movie blunders an actor has ever made.
That has got to go down in the books as one of the biggest blunders an actor ever made. Yeah, I kept imagining Will Smith in the role, though. Sometimes I felt he would Will Smith it up, which would have maybe been okay. But Yeah, yeah, he shouldn't have.
I know.
He shouldn't have.
Probably they
turned it
were paying
down.
more money for this one, and I think the Matrix at the time was involving a lot of new ideas. First of all, the story was a bit complex for like the normal commercial blockbuster. Then again, the techniques and all that. So I feel maybe he was trying to go the more assured route of let me do
Wild
West.
Ah.
You know what you're getting to make money back. Probably got paid really well. So I feel
Like Keanu
but it was
awesome.
a big blunder.
Yeah.
No, Keanu actually
Maybe
got
would
the
have
role,
never
and it's
gotten Keanu.
yeah, and probably it's probably his greatest role. He won't
Yeah.
do anything better than this. There's nothing before that
Come
was
on.
better than the Matrix.
We still have him for some time. John Wick is awesome.
John Wick is dope.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, that I have to of course point out the one being super cool now. Carrie Ann Moss. Thoughts?
I don't know. My one problem with her was that the whole love story. I felt it was a bit
That
forced.
killed me. It was
I know.
basically
I
Sleeping
know,
Beauty.
Yeah.
She kissed
And the
him.
whole kissing him and him waking up was what
That
really.
scene hurt my soul.
I know.
It was painful.
Yeah.
It was painful. Although, okay, one thing I always point out about good movies is there's so much good
Yeah.
that the bad is excusable.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
when you're
exactly,
talking, when you're
exactly.
remembering, you'll hardly remember
Yeah,
that
that-
Sleeping Beauty
yeah.
moment.
Because
The
everything
bad
leading up to that was on point.
was
yeah.
on point, and still the end was so satisfying. It was really cool seeing him be the one and being clarified to be the one.
Yeah.
So but that Sleeping Beauty moment killed me. How can what I kept thinking it in the sense of, imagine you're a group of people.
Yeah.
You're going to a sensei to show you your purpose, and your purpose is to fall in love with the one.
The one.
That's the worst. That's the
I
shitty
know.
thing to do to
Like
a
Morpheus
female
probably
lead.
got his message, then Neo got his, you should step up. Then Az was like,
You
fall
fall
in love with the one.
one.
Like, I feel that was again.
That was so big. I really, really hated that. So those were my two issues with it. I didn't like that Agent Smith was, the way his character was developed
Yeah.
wasn't satisfying enough, and Carrie Ann Sleeping Beauty stuff, that sucked.
Yeah.
I really hated that. Yeah. So wait, I think say any more remarks you had. What other main pointers did you have to talk about?
I know it wouldn't be doing this review justice if we didn't talk about the whole dodging bullet scene,
that
which
scene.
is iconic, and I'm sure it will go down in cinema history as one of those great scenes that people just won't forget.
Is that good though?
Yeah, and it was really complicated, as in, because before we did this whole thing, I had to actually go and read and see how they actually
nice.
did this, and it was actually complex. Like, it's really complex, because what they were saying was the whole effect involves, normal slow motion. Usually the camera is in one place and you're seeing this object actually move at a very slow pace. But then now this other technique, which they actually call flow-mo.
Cool.
Yeah, I think flowing and motion involves slow motion, but the camera actually moves at normal speed through the scene. So that's what made it really cool. It was so cool. And actually pulling it off, from what I was reading, is they lined up cameras on a rig, multiple cameras, and they took a photo. So now in editing, they just combine the photos. Now, as you know, they set the cameras at different intervals. So as one camera takes, the next one takes. So it's like the image is moving around the character. So it kind of gave it that whole really cool, fresh use of visual effects in a movie, which I feel was the strongest. Actually, if this movie go down for anything, it's probably going to be for that innovative use of slow-mo motion. Yeah, because now it's being done everywhere. You saw the Deadpool opening sequence. It's everywhere. Yet at that time it was so fresh
on the nose.
Yeah,
in Deadpool,
yeah.
though.
No, by now it has been used and reused, and it's no longer
no
all
longer
that.
fascinating.
Yeah, but then at that time, I imagine if I had gone to the cinema in '99 and watched that movie, I would have been blown away. I swear, I would have been.
It's the defining
defining,
moment.
yeah.
If you just want to describe it in movement, you can seriously say that for it. That's cool. I didn't know that. Oh, and I wanted to talk about the Wachowskis now with Jupiter Ascending.
I know.
How their career has gone downhill. It's painful to see, but
I have a friend who said they peaked early, because they made like their
That was like their
masterpiece.
second
It was like
movie.
it was like actually their first very big movie.
Mm.
They are the ones that done before were, small. The budgets weren't that big. This one was actually their big.
It was
first
like
big
80 mil.
Yeah.
And
No, actually,
something,
it was like around 63, which was quite a lot
which
at
is
the time.
a lot.
At the time.
A sort of trivia that I was seeing all over the place when I was trying to search about it is how Warner Brothers saw the whole idea and didn't think it was a good idea, so they gave them 10 mil.
Yeah.
They did that whole first sequence with Carrie Ann running, and they're like, cool. So they gave them the full budget, which was cool.
I didn't know that.
Another thing is, have you heard of the other? Actually, one thing that I was intrigued to watch after seeing it again was Animatrix. Did you see that?
I haven't seen that.
So because they were saying how their true vision for the sequels was to do the Matrix hundreds of years before. But those hundreds of years before won't include the main cast, which people had already fallen in love with. A studio couldn't allow. So they did Animatrix, which actually shows the machines and why they became like that. So
I haven't seen that one.
I have to see it, which was so cool. Yeah. More? What else do you have?
I don't know, because besides that, I'll probably have to bring out the problem I had with the movie was actually probably the final act.
The final act?
Yeah, because the final act was actually the big climax with all
the
the
train?
action. No, I
which
mean
one?
from like the part where Neo is like, actually, I'm now going to go back.
Oh yeah,
That's why I think now, because the movie had been very intelligent and more paced. Then there's this scene that I saw where they'd come to get Morpheus from the window.
Yeah.
And Neo is spraying bullets all over the glass. It's cutting through tables, water, and Morpheus is unharmed. So I was like, this isn't actually like, it has been very intelligent, based in reason, logic.
Yeah.
Then they just go off completely and like, let's now give these guys the finale they want. Let them get a shitload of guns.
It went into the cookie cutter normal way of doing things.
But it served because, understandable because, like, as we said, everything before was on point. So this was just kind of like giving the audience that gratifying effect of like actually watched a kick-ass movie with bullets.
It was that I feel like if that was the only action sequence, the whole time it would have been so satisfying because there's just a special level of effect it has on you. Anyway, I think that's it. I think it's official that it's a great movie. Yeah. It has some flaws. Nothing is perfect.
It has also influenced a lot of films from its time, like Inception. When I was watching it, I was like, no, I just borrowed ideas. Because again, it takes place in a world of sleep. They're plugging people in.
It reminded me of Inception over and over again.
So
and I was thinking,
you can see its influence already. It's showing through some of the great movies of the 2000s already. So
and I was thinking, why did people just label Inception the most understandable film? Yet this is also complicated in some ways. Like nothing's real. You just have to bend, and then things bend. I'm like, good. It really, really picked up on stuff. So this is it. Time's up. Okay. I guess this is it. Yeah. You've been listening to Cinema Red Pill. I'm Sharon.
And I'm Timothy.
Yeah. You can find us on find more stuff on film on cinemaredpill.com and email us in case you agree or disagree with our views at feedback at cinemaredpill.com. Thank you.